right. Round 2.
Yeah, this is hopefully going to work better than the first time we tried recording this and Jake disappeared halfway through. And by halfway, I mean about 4 minutes in, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, hate to see it.
But hello, everybody. We are back for week 2. We're going no video today, so you don't have to look at us. You're welcome. Jake was a little bit upset at how memed he was over the week, so he's pretending his video doesn't work. And I didn't want you to just have to look at me, so we went no video this week.
Hey.
And I guess we're going to have to start the same way. It feels way less genuine now, but we started this way last time. We'll start again. We want to start the group off with a congratulations to our boy Tom. He is officially married. Him and Katie sealed the deal last week, as if they weren't together for 800 years before that. But congratulations, my friend Tom. We love you. Katie could do better, but we still love you anyway. And wanted to say congratulations. It just feels less genuine. I was so happy about it before. I'm still happy, Tom, but it's like the second time it's weirder.
Yeah. Last time I made a joke, but congrats, Tom.
I don't remember the joke, but I'm sure it was very unfunny.
Probably.
All right. So, Tom, we're done talking about you. We love you. Katie, again, can do better. I do think you should invite the whole league to your celebration when that happens. But for all that want to know, I am a groomsman. So you want to see me in a fancy suit, come on down. All right. Let's start with the game of the week last week that did not turn into a game of the week.
Yeah. I mean, like we said before, disappointing game from probably both sides. Obviously, a lot less Trent than Cam. Cam had a tough week here. Definitely went the wrong QB2. Although I doubt Gino was in consideration.
I don't know, man. You may just want to start whoever is playing against Detroit.
That's facts.
If you play Detroit, you start them. Because Detroit just has the worst defense known to man. Sean would start for them right now.
Hey, they have a good offense, though. So
yeah, start Lions on offense, and start who's playing the Lions. Basically, if you see a Lions game, you start that person. I think that's a new rule.
Seeing the way this league goes, I feel like that trend's about to end next week. So we'll see about that.
I mean, I think Trent, on the other hand, wins a game where he put up solid numbers, but not great numbers. Without a QB2, it feels like both these teams are on the cusp of being really good and are on the cusp of possibly falling off. And so, of course, one of them is just going to go on a crazy run right now. Like Trent is going to be 10-0 by the time we're on week 11. But I don't know. It feels like something's missing there for me.
I mean, I think he's got a pretty clear hole at QB2.
Sure.
Depending on when Mac can get back and if Baker can turn this around. I mean, I don't know how many times he's going to have 2 picks and a fumble, but Arizona's not a good defense, so that was a little upsetting, I guess.
I think if you're the great Penn State linebacker Matty Rule, you should be looking at Sam Darnold coming back pretty soon here. But that's just me.
Yeah. Other than that, I think tight ends were a little disappointing for both sides. More Trent than Cam, but that's just because Mark Andrews is an animal for the most part.
Yeah. And I think I incorrectly predicted last week that would be the X factor that made Trent win. Turns out incorrect. It was the wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, all of them. What is it, 15 and up?
Yeah. And I mean, like, I guess they're the obvious ones to start, but hey, Trent made no wrong moves this week.
That is true. Good
And,
job, Trent.
Yeah. Welcome to the league, buddy. You'll lose maybe once. And then we can move on to the fun make fun of Jake portion of the session because he played Mitch.
Yeah.
And Mitch sucks.
Not this week. I think Mitch had a lot of points this week, but my team wasn't beating almost any team, so it didn't really matter, I guess.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm bad at fantasy football, so I think we've established that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone besides CD scored a touchdown. No, Brandon Cook scored a touchdown. We got that going for us.
Well,
We had
everyone.
I don't count quarterbacks. Had a solid. I count them separately.
Sure.
Had a solid one touchdown from both quarterbacks combined. That's always fun. And then the Bears are bad.
Yeah, I thought the 2 tight end start was interesting. I don't know what is happening in Atlanta, but that Kyle Pitts stuff needs to figure itself out. Darren Waller, again, just like it was an interesting move. It's clear the best player in your team right now is Saquon Barkley. So obviously next week he's putting up 2 points while Jonathan Taylor and those guys go crazy because I'm just never correct about anything. But this is still a team with an insane amount of talent. Mitch, on the other hand, really made no missteps.
Yeah.
His flex position is always going to be interesting because he just has a lot of depth. Like Cortland Sutton over DJ Moore seemed to work out. Gallup got his touchdown on his first week back. Godwin is now back and got a crap load of targets. Mitch's looks like he's in good shape. And that was a really big win for him.
Yeah, obviously 2-2 feels a lot nicer than 1-3. I can attest to that one.
Yeah.
I think you didn't mention Connor. I think that's another player that can come into the flex consideration. But other than that, I think Mitch's lineup's pretty much set. And quarterbacks are set, running backs and receivers. So it's really the tight end who he seems to shuffle in and out, and flex that he has to make a decision on.
You could reasonably start Connor over Aaron Jones at some point if he loves the wide receivers. I think that's really what his flexibility looks like. Also, can we give him some credit? He scored a point at tight end this week. Woo!
Lots of points. I was happy to see that pop up when Disley scored the touchdown. Happy for Mitch. Good job, Mitch. Proud of you.
And I guess that's the end of that one. And we move on to what was probably the biggest blowout.
Yeah, what a week from Sean there.
Skull Daddy going crazy, putting up 170 with one of his players having less than 2 points.
Yeah, tough week for Amari, but I have a feeling he'll be able to fill that spot a little better going forward.
Maybe now's the time to talk about that trade. I thought Sean made I love the move from Sean. I think Biondi made a good move for Biondi. But I loved what Sean did there, getting that wide receiver. Obviously, it didn't pay off this week, but I still have some pretty good faith there.
Yeah, Biondi's staying busy, getting a lot of deals done, accruing some picks as he goes.
Mm-hmm.
I like the move for both guys. I think Sean needed a flex, and Biondi doesn't really need a 28-year-old receiver at this point. So
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say other than the Detroit Lions strike again. Jared Goff, 35 points. Nick Chubb's a monster. Big week from We Are here. Miles Sanders.
Yeah, crazy week. I mean, I think going over to the other side, Sarush has just been decimated with injuries. Tua, that was just scary. I think everyone saw. We don't need to go into it.
Yep.
Ridiculous that he played. Javonte Williams being out for the season is tough. Eli Mitchell is now hurt. Like, Keenan Allen is hopefully back. Amon-Ra is hopefully back. But God, when I picked Sean because I was afraid of the injuries, I didn't think this would be what happened this week.
Yeah, Javonte's a big injury for Sarush. He doesn't really have the RB depth, so losing him for the season is going to hurt a lot, I think. I liked what he did, picking up Jeff Wilson this week.
Yeah.
That should. And helps because he has Mitchell, so when Mitchell's back, he'll be able to hopefully just swap those unless they decide to go committee there. So I like that.
Yeah.
Second rounder, probably worth it for him at that point.
No, especially with the Javonte injury. Can't hate on Sarush making that move. Sarush does have another interesting thing of his tight end situation. Like, I don't know what to make of him having 4 tight ends on the roster right now.
Yeah.
He went out and got Kittle, which I think people made fun of Mitch for, but Kittle needs to start showing out because this has been a little ridiculous.
Yeah, seems like they're using him a lot for blocking, which they always do, but I don't know. I'd probably stick with Njoku. He gets like a lot of targets, 5, 10, 7. That's a lot. So, and then Freiermuth on the bench with Pickett coming in should be interesting to say the least.
That was exactly what I was going to say, is to see how rookies are going to rely on tight ends, and maybe Pickett goes that way more. But I think we've covered what we wanted to there.
Yep. Next is Lamb Chop versus Biondi.
Yeah, what is good?
I almost called this. I called this an upset alert ? And I think Biondi put up one of the best fights there is. So
yeah. I was amazed, but I mean, dude, you start Lions. You just start the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. That'll probably be Hawkinson's best game of his career. So knowing I said that, he'll go off for another 40 next week. But yeah, can't be mad at it. Apparently Amon-Ra stops Hawkinson from doing things, but maybe they could figure out how to work together.
I mean, the QB situation is scary bad for Biondi, but I guess that's how he wants it. Chris Olave looks like that receiver that you should take at least this year.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, Lemon just wins. Like, I don't understand. He just wins games.
Yeah. He did the same thing last year. Seems like he finds a way to get the exact amount of points he needs every week and not any more points and not any less.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like things work out for him. Jamal Williams gets to start, and then he gets 23. Lazard drops 15. Ertz 14.
Yeah.
On a week where he needed all that to happen to win. So.
Well, he made the big mistake of not starting Dameon Pierce this week over Curtis Samuel. But, like I said, Jamal Williams, you just start the Detroit Lions. You just do. But, yeah, he just wins by like 5. No matter what's happening, I know this week he won by like 17. But it feels like he wins by 5 points no matter what the week is.
Yeah. Yeah. It just feels like he never gets one of those tough weeks where like Biondi randomly scores 121 and he scores like 115, and it's just like, that's bad luck. But hey, another win, former champ. Our former champs are doing well this year. Skullcap,
Yeah.
big week. Lamb Chop, big week. So maybe they deserved a little more respect coming into the season from Chris's write-up.
Well, Chris is usually wrong, as shown by the next game we'll talk about.
Well, to be fair, you started Kamara, so.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but I probably would have gone Deontay Johnson, and that dude put up 3. So, like, I don't think no matter who I started, I don't think I had a bench player that would have gotten me that win.
Yeah, I guess you don't have anyone on the bench that makes up the difference there.
No. So, I mean, like, I just had a bad week. It was lovely to see Justin Jefferson coming back. And maybe I don't just have a bad week. Maybe I just have a worse team than we all assumed. Najee hopefully can start finding the end zone. I just don't find the end zone.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Like, Jamar Chase had 81 yards, but where the end zone just was non-existent. Trevor won this game because he had people score touchdowns. Austin Eckler didn't have a great game. He just had 3 touchdowns.
That makes it a great game.
And that. But, like, he had 60 yards. He had, 13, 14 carries. Like, it wasn't like he went crazy. He just put the ball in. He crossed the white line. That's what he did.
Yep.
And that wins games. And I'm salty about it. And Trevor texted me, God, I don't know, probably as soon as kickoff happened in that game and went, oh, I see you started Kamara. So, like, he saw it coming, and he didn't let me know. People forget I'm on a different time zone. So that game started like 7:30 here. I was sleepy.
Yeah.
I was drinking my coffee and then got an update that Justin Jefferson was in the red zone. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, that's tough. We have Kamara in the Yahoo League, so we felt your pain this week.
These London games just whatever.
The Giants are in London this week, just so you know, just so everyone knows.
I did not know that, so good to know.
Yep.
And then let's talk about the fun game, Mr. Married Man versus Mr. Danny.
This was a fun game. Big week from Tom.
Yeah.
I guess not a big week from Danny, but
new.
Some exciting things happened. Rashad Penny on the bench had almost 30, and Stevenson looks good. So there's some stuff to take away. And Kenny Pickett.
The biggest takeaway from this game is that last week, you said Kenny Pickett will will replace Mr. Trubisky halfway through the game against the Jets. Holy crap, were you right?
Yeah, I mean, just playing the odds there, I figured if Mitch had a bad first half, it was just gonna be like, all right, it's the Jets, and they were gonna go with the rookie. Worked out that way. They looked a lot. Even though he threw 3 picks, I blame Chase Claypool for one because that man can't catch a football. But I thought they looked a lot better with him. I don't know what you thought.
I'm annoyed that they didn't just give the ball to Najee Harris to run in those 2 touchdowns, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, let's draft a running back in the first round and let our quarterback run for touchdowns because that's smart. But no, Tommy gets on the win. Danny is still struggling. To win games, Danny just needs all of his young wide receivers to come together and figure it out that week, and they didn't this week. Granted, I guess Danny gets it a lot closer if he starts Rashad Penny, but it's not like his run. I guess Pollard did not play well.
Well, Danny's playing me this week, so I'm sure his receivers will all score 4 touchdowns.
Well, I mean, Devonta Smith went for 3 touchdowns the week before, and then this week he looked like he was non-existent.
Yeah, I mean, when I was giving him away, that's kind of how I saw the season playing out. It's just, I didn't expect the Eagles to be what they were either, but what they are either. But I think he has a lot better games coming. He'll have a lot of big weeks. I imagine some down weeks too, just because AJ Brown gobbles up targets.
Sure. Fair enough. Well, it looks like we got through our week of games.
Woohoo! Let's see how much time that took.
23 minutes.
That's not that bad.
That feels better than last week.
Yeah. I think we gotta keep it moving now.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about what happened with our picks. We all made our picks this week. One of us went 4-2. The other didn't. Not going to name names, but I went 4-2, and you didn't.
Can you see my screen?
I can. I can see where it says you went 2-4. So the games you won were Mitch and Lamb Chop. The games I lost were I picked you, and we both picked me.
Yeah.
Damn
well,
you,
I think we both played some division favorites there, but I don't know. Looks like Penn State's finally going to get a win on the season the way it's going.
Well, Penn State went 4-2 this week as well, with me losing.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Also, I do enjoy that you said Penn State will get a win now. Penn State has 2 championships. Stony Brook has 0.
Well, I meant wins for the division, but
well, Lamb Chop and Shawnee Boy are holding up their rings right now, both with wins this week. As you said, Penn State on the rise.
Yep. 2 goats.
Yeah. I think we can kind of skip through the standings. People, if you're watching, you can see it on the screen.
Yeah. This will be something going forward, but
yeah, this will be more important come playoff time. I mean, the only thing to talk about is that Stony Brook has 3 guys that are 3-1, and Penn State has 4 guys that are 2-2.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's the difference there. And also Trent. So, good job, Trent.
Woo-hoo.
All right, power ranking time.
Power rankings.
Power rankings are quite different.
Yeah.
Obviously, we both start off with Trent number 1 because, I mean, duh. Anything we need to talk about with Trent's team? I think we talked about my fears for it before, but
yeah, I think we talked about it. QB2 a little weak, but
4-0.
4-0, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Number 2, we went different ways, both in the Stony Brook division. You went Cam, I went Sarouche. So explain yourself.
Yeah, so I went Cam just mostly because of Sarouche's injuries. I don't know if Daniel Jones is playing this week or not, but that could be pretty bad. And then Tua, who knows when he's going to play again? Hopefully, he'll get a week or 2 off there.
A week? Jeez, like 6.
Yeah, well, I doubt that happens.
I hope so, man. That was.
So I think losing Tua really hurts the team, obviously. And then Javante's also a big loss.
Sure.
Obviously, he got Jeff Wilson, as we already talked about. I think I put this rankings together before that happened, so I haven't changed it since. But yeah, I think Cam's team's still really good. Seems like Dak's gonna come back earlier than expected. And Wentz, I think, can still do enough until he gets him back. So still think he's in a good spot. Plus, he benefits from having Melvin now that Javante's out. So
true facts. Yeah, I think I don't disagree with Cam being there. I mean, I put Cam 3rd, but I do still put Sarouche there. Sarouche, I think, has shown a lot already this season. I get the injury bug, but we'll see. And I think we can move to number 3 because holy crap, do you have some explaining to do? By putting me at 3, that sounds crazy to me. Cam, I'm not going to go into. You just explained everything about Cam. Please explain to me how I end up at 3 because I am way down on my board.
Yeah, I was deciding between you and Skullcap, to be honest. I think Sarush was pretty much at fifth just based on injuries for me this week. But I thought you and Skullcap pretty close. I think with assuming Jamar Chase gets going, your team's still in a really good spot. And I think not having Kamara hurt a lot last week. Still, in my opinion, probably the most talented team, I'd say. All around, have a QB1, two wide receiver ones, a number one running back in Kamara, for me at least, and then Najee as well. So, I don't know. I still think you're in a good spot.
I mean, I get what you're saying because I do believe in those players. It felt when I saw I was at 3, it felt crazy to me. I appreciate the faith. I'm probably going to start trying to look to make some moves here. I don't know what moves they are, but we'll see. And then we can move on to 4 and talk about Skull Daddy, who we both have down at 4th.
Yeah, after this week, I think maybe he deserves to be a little higher here.
Yeah.
I think Goff working out the way he has so far, and I don't think it's gonna stop based on the way Detroit plays. But having Goff looks like a top 10 quarterback, so having him and Herbert is a pretty nice combo. And then that was kind of the weakness of his team last year. So yeah, not much else to say. Miles Sanders has been awesome this year. It seems like all the good offenses Sean has a piece of. So I like his team a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to talk about Nick Chubb, who I've tried to take from Sean since probably draft day. I think he's probably the only one in the league who values Nick Chubb more than I do, because he basically values Nick Chubb higher than everyone else in the league. But I think his 3 wide receiver combination now is tough. Kelsey, put some numbers up this week. His QBs are so good. I think Sean legitimately could have been sitting at 2 this week. But I went with record and pushed him down a little bit, but I think he could have been easily at 2.
Yeah, don't disagree on that.
And now we'll move to number 5. You have Sarush, who we've kind of been through a few times now.
Yeah.
This is where I put Lamb Chop, so I guess I go back-to-back champs 4 and 5. My man Lamb just wins. We talked about it earlier. McCaffrey is there. Depending on what the heck the Lions do, Jamal Williams is an RB1. That dude is like a top 5 running back right now. I think it looks like he's actually running back maybe 3. So like that dude is killing. Cup is Cooper Cup, and Zach Wilson being back looks like it was pretty good. Although I guess Joe Flacco did beat me earlier in the year, basically by himself. But Zach Wilson looked good. Giselle is on the market now, and apparently he's making moves. So
No, let's not go into the Brady stuff.
hey, man, this is for his confidence. A supermodel makes him more confident. You've seen Moneyball where they don't want to draft that player just because his girlfriend didn't look good, apparently. Zach Wilson may be that man.
All right. Teach their own.
Yeah. Let's move down to 6 where you have Lamb Chop. Anything else you want to talk about with Lamb Chop that I missed?
Not really. I mean, I think he's a contender as he has been for the last year. Or I don't know. How did he do in the first year? Actually, I have no idea.
He had like the 2nd worst record.
Okay. Well,
he drafted Zach Wilson. He had pick number 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it went Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Najee Harris.
That sounds about right.
And then I think Sarush went and got Javonte Williams, and I picked up Chase at 7.
Yeah.
That
was a steal.
Yeah. Turns out he was the pick. Oh no, you picked Kyle Pitts at 6.
I had Pitts, and then I think Lamb Chop picked ETN after
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I picked Chase at 9. Javonte Williams went 8, and I picked Chase at 9 because I was going to pick Javonte Williams over Jamar Chase. Full
I
trans.
remember you being very upset about that, but
I was super high on Javonte Williams, and if you remember my team year 1, my wide receivers were fine. I think going into that draft, I had Justin Jefferson, Debo, and Terry McLaurin, and I didn't have a single running back.
yeah,
Something like that.
something like that.
Yeah.
Other than that, McCaffrey got started this week, so let's see if he can keep that going.
Yeah.
I think we can move on.
Yeah, we can move on to Mitchell, Mr. Mitchie, Mr. Weop, who put up crazy numbers this week. I'm still not super sold on his running backs. I think if he's a great manager, his wide receivers work out amazingly. I think it's very easy for him to sit the wrong one each week, which is something I've done in the past. And who knows what happens with divorced Tom Brady?
Yeah, could go good, could go bad. I had him at 7. I guess I see his team a little different than you. I think he starts AJ Brown and Debo every week. I think he has 2 quarterbacks to start every week. I think if I'm him, I'm starting Aaron Jones and Mixon every week. So maybe he should start James Conner. And then the flex, I think it's fine to move people around in the flex based on matchups. So, yeah, I guess I see his team a little different than you see it, but a lot of potential there, and seems like everyone's kind of getting started at the same time. So maybe he'll make a big run and move up the rankings.
And what's crazy is it really feels like this is a 9-team race, not just for playoff slots, but like for a title. I'm sorry for the 3 that might be out of it today already, but it feels like the top 9 teams in this league could win a championship.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our next person, which is Mr. Delusional, Mr. Miracle Man, Mr. Forehead, Trevor.
Yeah. Well, you had him a spot higher than me because you have yourself too low here. But I think Trevor is beating the odds every week, and I told him that I would no longer question him. So I'm not going to question anything he does, and maybe I should have put him at 1.
Yeah, I mean, Edwards-Helaire doing what Edwards-Helaire did, Eckler doing what he does. Maybe Trevor regrets tanking. I mean, he had Goff. Remember, he gave up Goff for not like a crazy amount. If that could have been his QB2, Trevor's in like title picture right now. He's probably undefeated and sitting there with Trent as 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think he was pretty down on his team going into the year, but his team is proving him wrong here. So who knows? Maybe he will make some moves.
Yeah, I mean, also kind of a mean move to tell his opponent after the game started that he was starting someone who was out, but whatever, it's fine. He complained last week about our entire thing and that we didn't give him enough respect, but it's fine. He's gonna start losing here, and then we can all laugh at him.
Nope, Trevor's gonna win every game the rest of the year.
Okay. Well, we know that's not happening. So I guess we can move on to my number 8 because Trevor's yours, which is myself. You kind of went through this already. I think this is kind of like the big difference we had is you had me at 3. I had me at 8. I went based on not know so much potential this week, but on just like points scored. I have not done well. It has been a struggle and a half. Again, I think everything you said makes sense with my team. I hopefully can turn this around, but it's been scary.
Yeah, well, I think you're still in a good spot. I mean, 6 teams make the playoffs, and you have guys that can have blow up weeks, so always dangerous.
Yeah, and now we can move on to you. I'll let you start with yourself.
I feel like that's a mean thing to do, but I have me at 8 because I feel like I'm slightly better than the 3 teams below me, but they could always prove me wrong. Danny gets a second quarterback this week, so maybe he'll end my season. But yeah, we've been terrible all year, and hopefully that turns around.
Yeah, this was a really big game for you and Mitch. I think we talked about it being the most important game. 1-3 and 2-2 are very different things. Jonathan Taylor has been super interesting because even the Colts offense got it going a little bit this week, but he didn't. So your team is still one of the more talented ones. Your QBs have not worked out, I think, in the way you probably would have thought they would, the way I thought they would. And then hopefully if Jonathan Taylor turns it around, I mean, your season comes right back to prominence. And I think if he's the RB1 that everyone thought he would be, you move right back into the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he has an ankle injury too, so
Yeah.
hard to. A lot of injuries right now. I think three of my running backs are all hurt, so we'll see. Kind of in a period where I have to win and all my good players are hurt, so this season could go badly quickly, but we'll see how
I
it
don't know if
goes.
you're quite there just yet. I think maybe a week or two. If you end up 1-4, I think you turn into must wins. But I think at 1-3, you can still survive.
Fair enough.
All right, move on to number 10. You went Beyondy. I went Tom.
Yeah, I went Beyondy. I'd say with these 3 teams, I just kind of went with who scored the most points this week, and that was Beyondy. I think Beyondy scored like at least like close to 100, if not 100, every week. So I think he deserves to be there.
Oh, I agree. I put Tom ahead of him because Tom won this week. Tom had a better matchup, but Tom won. So that was Beyondy did an amazing job. Somehow, still, again, this man just survives. But yeah, and I think Danny is still working out some kinks. Danny's team, I think the potential is there. This year's draft is where Danny moves on from 12th to top 5.
Yep.
All right, and now we're up to next week's games.
All right. Guess we don't have to share this anymore.
Yeah.
I made you versus Trent the game of the week. I think it's a big game for you. I think a win here really helps you get back into the swing of things, and you're playing the number 1 seed. So that's why I made you guys game of the week this week.
I think that's fair. I probably wouldn't have made this game of the week if I'm being honest. I'll talk about which one I would have. But I think it's a fun game. I think that this game could easily come down to which of the wide receivers is awake for it. I'm hoping Kyler can somewhat match Josh Allen, and that hopefully whoever will be QB2 this week, and maybe that's Kyler. Maybe I'll go crazy and put Trevor Lawrence as QB1 this week, possibly. Who knows? Fumbled 4 times, so that's okay. Again, our teams feel pretty even. I would hesitantly give myself an advantage at running back. We saw how well that worked for Cam this week. Wide receiver, I think it's pretty dang close. Bengal versus Bengal. Who does Joe Burrow throw to may decide who wins this game.
Yeah, I think it'll come down to that as well.
So predictions, who you got?
I'm gonna still roll with you. A lot of confidence, as you can see from my power rankings. I think this is the game where Chase turns it around, maybe gets a touchdown, gets back into the swing of things. I think it's a pretty good matchup in Cincinnati, so I think there could be a lot of points scored there. So I'm rolling with you this week.
So it's crazy. But I'm going to go with some confidence. I'm going myself as well. That was clearly where I lost last week was you and I both went with me. So next week when we're doing this podcast, after Trent beats me, I'll never pick myself again. But I'm picking me this week.
Alrighty. And the next game is our Battle of Champions, as I called it. Skullcap versus Lamb Chop. My question is Jared Goff his QB1?
No. I think Jared Goff would be your QB1.
That's facts.
I don't think he is Sean's QB1. I do think you start the Lions. That is the title of this video, I guess. I've said it 400 times, but you start the Lions. I think you're right. We have some fun running back matchups this week with these two guys. I mean, the past champs, the guy who struggled a lot last year versus the guy who just somehow won everything last year.
Yep.
I think it's a fun game. I think it's easy to say Sean has the more talented team. Jamal Williams is the X factor in this game. I think he still rushes for 2 touchdowns.
Fair enough. I went with Skullcap. I like.
Nope.
I think I came down to the flex for me. I like Marquise Brown more than Samuel, and I like Kelsey. He always gives a big advantage there. So
interestingly, I mean I'm also going with Skullcap. I think the talent is too much there for Lemon. I think Sean beats him in every position but RB2 and probably RB1, but that San Francisco front line is pretty good. I mean, at this point, I think you could put Goff over Burrow on a week-to-week basis until you're shown not. So I think we're both going Skullcap.
Sounds good. All right.
And just to clarify before, that would have been my game of the week.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, fair enough. On to Mr. Sarouche versus Cam.
Sarouche versus Cam. Our last hopes. Other than Trevor. Sorry, Trevor. Should have left you in there. Apologies. Don't take it out on me. Big game this week. Probably decides who's the number 1 seed at Stony Brook, at least for now. A lot of injuries here. Patterson, Javonte, Tua. So kind of, I think in a perfect world, this is probably matchup of the week, but we're not living in that world right now. So a little less interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see who Sarouche decides to start at tight end again this week. And then I think other than that, every position kind of matches itself for the most part.
So I think this week, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think Sarouche has a more well-rounded team, while Cam has some big hitters. Stephon Diggs, for example. Jalen Hurts. There's some guys that Cam have that I just don't know if you can trust on a day-to-day basis. Over the course of the season, they'll put up big numbers, but it's 1 week 75, 1 week 7. I think Sarush, if people are playing, he's got the more talented team. I think this is the big game, and this maybe should be the game of the week actually because of how much is on the line in this game. I mean, this really gives you a big advantage over everyone not named Trevor moving forward. So at this point in time, I'm picking Sarush.
Yeah, I think that's probably the smart way to go. But I'm gonna say Cam squeezes one out here. Not sure exactly how, but I think it's close enough, and I think Cam's had some big play guys that haven't gone off in the last few weeks. So I think they have an opportunity to possibly go off this week. And then I think losing Javante really may swing the tides to Cam's side since he has Melvin.
Fair enough. That brings us to a fun Stony Brook matchup. I guess we're back into league play or division play now, which I guess I didn't realize until I just said it. But we have Trevor and Biondi.
Yeah. I think two of the more surprising teams on the year. They both have been competitive, if not winning every week. I think the RB1 matchup is interesting between Dobbins and Eckler / Clyde, whoever you may prefer.
I disagree. I think Dobbins is clearly probably this week is probably my third pick out of the three. And I'm probably wrong about it, but I see this one as pretty straightforward. I think Biondi's done a great job tanking. Trevor is more talented. Trevor needs to probably not start Brian Hoyer. This is a battle of nobody having a second QB, but top to bottom, Aaron Rodgers and the running backs, Trevor's going to win this game.
Yeah, I have Trevor winning the game as well. So there you go, Trevor. We both picked you this week, so no more disrespect.
Yeah. Well, he was playing Biondi. I love Biondi, but, team's not the best. And now we get to move on to a game that you interestingly labeled the battle for, well, you don't know how to spell Chris properly, but the battle for Chris's heart. This is a very interesting thing to say because Tom clearly has my heart, and Mitch is the worst. Mitch tried to tell me today that Ohtani is good, and that bothered me. But, Aaron Judge, MVP. Mitch is wrong. Ohtani is an above-average hitter and a good pitcher.
But it's a pretty hot take to say that Ohtani's not good. But
I didn't say he wasn't good. I said he wasn't MVP. It was like a huge difference.
Well, you said Mitch tried to tell you that Ohtani was good, which is true.
Well, he tried to tell me that Aaron Judge probably shouldn't be MVP. So he's been left on red while we do this podcast because I've been upset at him. He also was in Colorado like this week and didn't come say hello. So that was pretty mean.
Damn.
I was pretty upset.
What's that about, Mitch? I thought Mitch didn't like me. Apparently, he just doesn't like you.
Well, I don't know, but he's got to shape up because I see him in like 2 weeks, so he's got to get his stuff figured out. Otherwise, I might have Danny and Biondi jump him in Texas. There's no like cops or anything. It'll be fine. Sick my goons on him.
All right. That's enough of the fantasy baseball podcast.
Yeah, game time.
Man, that threw me off course here.
So Mitch has a team that is quite talented versus a team that is still in rebuild central. I think just top to bottom, Mitch's team is better. However, like it's not out of the realm of it's not even like super crazy to think Tom competes in this game.
No, I think Tom. I think the running back matchup's probably closer than most would think.
I agree.
Quarterbacks kind of where I have a hard time seeing Tom competing, but you never know. Mariota runs, so that could always make the game interesting.
Yeah, no, I think Tom certainly has a chance. I think it'll be interesting to see what Algier does and if he becomes a starter in Atlanta with the injuries going on there, adds a third running back to Tom's rotation. I think easily Tom could end up winning tight end. He could win flex. I don't think it's a super stretch to say he could win wide receiver. I think there's a chance, especially this week, that I might pick him at running back over Mitch. And then I think Mitch wins at quarterback pretty easily. So that being said, QB is the number one position. I'm picking Mitch.
Yeah, on my sheet I had Mitch blows him out.
Fair enough. I don't think you're going to get blown out, Tom, but I have faith in you. And now we move on to our last game of the week.
But congrats on the marriage, Tom.
Yay, Tom. Win one for Katie.
All right, last matchup of the week. Two terrible teams, 1-3 versus 0-4.
God, there's nothing that could have saved your season more. And I'm sorry, Danny, but I'm sure you're aware of the situation of your team. Nothing saves your season more than finding Danny right here, week 5, when you need a win.
We'll see about that. I mean, I think this is the first week Danny's going to have a second quarterback, so that helps a lot. What else do we got here? I think the emergence of Penny and Stevenson makes this team a lot better, and then I don't think you can easily say that the receivers go in my favor here. So I think it'll be a lot closer than you're saying it is.
So I think there's a lot of things that have to go right for Danny to win this game. I think that it's not out of the realm of possibility that those things do go right. I think Pickett starting is huge. I think Stevenson could easily take that RB2 spot. If Taylor is not playing, I don't know how much I trust Zeke. Because, I think that's what you're left with. No, yeah, it would be Zeke.
No other option, really.
So that's interesting. I don't know. However, I think just top to bottom, I think just you have more guarantees. So I will pick you to break the drought because you started 1-0, right?
No idea. It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah. But I'm picking you to break your drought. I picked you last week and you made me look stupid. So hopefully you don't this week.
All right. I was going to say that Kenny Pickett ends my season, but I'm going to roll with me. Why not? Have a little bit of confidence. I think all the things you're saying are interesting. I think if my quarterbacks can throw more than 3 touchdowns combined, that would make my life a lot easier. But
3 combined, they threw 1 this week.
Well, I'm hoping that they throw 3 combined at least.
Well, I think
Chicago's bad, Dallas bad, so yeah.
All right. So in a recap of the week, we both picked me somehow. We both picked Sean.
Yep. I picked Cam, you picked Suresh.
Later about the next one. We both picked Trevor. We both picked Mitch, and we both picked you. So That's a problem. We're on the same page in 5 games this week. That's an issue.
Hey, we weren't on page on any games last week, so.
Yeah, well, let's go Sarouche. At least keep my winning record. Give me a 3-game lead over Jake on the season. I don't care who wins any other game this week. That's only a minor lie.
It's only a 2-game lead, but you know.
Well, it would be a 3-game lead if Sarouche wins this week.
That's true.
It'll drop down to a 1-game lead if Sarouche wins. Sarouche loses. So Sarouche, no pressure, buddy.
All right.
But I think we did
think
it.
That's it.
Way shorter than last week.
Did it in like half an hour less than last week, but hope you guys like it, and we'll try to figure out video for next week.
And by we, he means Jake. My video is working fine.
That is true.
Sorry you guys missed out on meme-worthy Jake. It's fun to do that. And also, we're looking for recommendations for our fun little theme song. We're going to have Trevor sing it, and we'll play it before each we want someone to write the lyrics because Trevor's not creative. He just can sing okay sometimes.
Man.
Yes, sir. All right. You guys
have
a wonderful day. We will talk about it next week.